to multiple platforms. And we are doing a super seller session today, which is tips, tricks, and no BS advice with the best resellers in the world. Of course, Jordan and Will being two of them. And we are also giving away a month free of this birthday just for being here. So stick around. If you have any questions for Jordan and Will throughout the interview, please drop them below. And without further ado, Jordan and Will are the dynamic duo behind Lavish Finds. They've both been entrepreneurs from a very young age, so I'm definitely going to have to ask about that off script, as I usually like to do. They also help other people build successful e-commerce businesses. So if you need mentorship, that is something that they do. And also, drum roll, $100,000 average sales across multiple platforms on an annual basis. That is definitely goals. I really, really want to get there myself. So I'm excited to learn and get some of the secret sauce today. That's what we're doing. Okay, so without further ado, can you guys just start by telling us, how did you get into reselling? And you can answer together, apart, doesn't matter.
Well, obviously when it comes to reselling, it's a lot easier when it's something that you either have grown up in or you just find yourself extremely passionate about. Ever since I want to say in my youth, or as long as I can remember, I have always been involved or sucked into whether it be sneakers or fashion some way. My stepdad, when I was, I want to say maybe 3, 4, up to maybe my younger years, worked at a Foot Locker. So when we went to see him, I'm surrounded by shoes, I'm surrounded by sneakers, and I was raised more so on the East Coast in my younger days. And so like DC, Maryland, Philadelphia, very urban. Fashion's a big deal. So that kind of, I guess you could say, really shaped just my upbringing and what I found my passion for. What else can we say as far as that? Well, moving forward, I guess we could say we are full-time entrepreneurs, obviously. We used to be full-time personal trainers. And obviously when coronavirus hit, there was a lot of transition and adjustments that had to be made. So as opposed to basically, like, I guess you could say, succumbing to circumstances, what we did is we adapted and adjusted. And before coronavirus happened, obviously, like, we were, somewhat dabbling into reselling. So we were reselling, off of an Instagram page, Lavish Happens Fashion. And we eventually just grew into full-time. Obviously, we were somewhat forced, but it was a very easy transition because we found that spending a lot more time in a building, getting paid by the hour, or trading time for money was just becoming exhausting. And I felt that we could make a lot more money with the time that we had.
Well, and another thing too, you always say, like, if you're on your phone and you're not making money, why are you on your phone? So many people are spending hours and hours on it, so you better be monetizing it, or you should be monetizing it, right? And so he would always just be going through different types of ways to make money, and he saw how much people were making money off of reselling, and then just kept researching and be like, hey, what do you think about this? We should do this, we should try it. And then we just started trying it. We started going to Ross in Burlington and all these other places, and picked up something that was at a reasonable price, looked up the comps for it, and invest a little bit of money in it, and saw what it did for us. And we wanted to keep multiplying that. And that's really how it started, though, reselling as a full-time thing for us.
Yeah. We jumped we jumped into it with a little to no experience, but just self-education, mistakes also were a major part in our growth. You have to be willing to fall on your face, but it's the attitude that you have after you fall on your face, which is going to either, project you having some really good, growth, or you're just going to stay stagnant. So we really had to use our mental abilities to really sharpen our tools and become better, for sure.
Yeah, no, and I think that that's so awesome that you guys were able to transition quickly and adapt. And I think a lot of people are finding themselves in that situation, especially with COVID. So just to be clear, you guys went from part-time selling before COVID to now full-time now that the pandemic hit. And that's really where a lot of us are at this point.
Right.
Okay, very cool. And it's great to hear your story. I know that this has been you have a similar story to me in that I was reselling before the platforms even existed. It's just been a part of my life, my whole life. And I know there's so much streetwear kind of culture, which is what you were talking about on the East Coast. And that's something that my boyfriend knows a lot more about than me. But for me, I'm doing flea markets and mostly Levi's was kind of my bread and butter growing
Good
up.
money.
Yeah,
Good
like
money.
the vintage stuff. And like even Lacoste and the Izod tees back in the day or the
Oh
polos.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so which marketplaces are you currently selling on and where are you seeing the most success?
Go ahead.
Oh wow. Okay, so we initially started on eBay and Goat because those were the easiest platforms, more relatable. I would say a lot more variety of customer base. So currently we are on eBay, Mercari, Poshmark, Depop, Tradesy, Kitty's Inn, Instagram, Facebook Marketplace. We
have our own website.
We have our own website. We're on OfferUp.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Is your website through Shopify too?
So we have a website through another platform, but when when that's over, we plan to go to Shopify because it just makes sense too. Yeah.
And yeah, as you guys know, it's perfectly integrated with Shopify, so gonna make it super easy for you. Whenever you do that. But wow, that's a lot of platforms. I'm so impressed by that. Do you guys list all of your products on everything, or do you kind of pick and choose based on the audience?
We mostly list on all platforms, except obviously, Kitty's Inn is only moms and kids, so you can't post men's shoes or clothes there. So wherever we can list everything, we do. Obviously, more eyes means more sales. So, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so what's your top performing platform or two platforms?
What do you think?
This question has a different set of answers only due to it's all about timing and seasonings. For a period, eBay was one of our least performing because we had some returns that we declined, and we didn't know that if you decline a certain amount of returns on eBay, that affects your seller rating. And so what it did was they limited the amount of, or the value amount of the items that we could list. And so we had to remove a whole bunch of inventory on eBay and just keep it to where only a certain amount of items, which was about, I think we capped out at 190. So we had to create another eBay and kind of just try to separate that to where we posted and listed clothing and shoes, or clothing and sandals and things like that on one, and then high dollar shoes on another platform. And then what happens is, and this is why I love List Perfectly, because each platform will perform at different ranges with different types of items that you have. As eBay struggled, Mercari really took off for us. Like we would have $1,700 sales days on Mercari. And then if Mercari struggled, eBay would take over, or even Poshmark. I forgot Poshmark. We saw on Poshmark also. Poshmark would just blow our minds as far as the sales that we would get, the amount of reasonable offers. We have to throw that out there. And so it really depends, but I would definitely say eBay, Mercari are probably our top two performing as far as income.
Okay, that's awesome. And you know what? I will say Mercari and eBay are both known to reward people for listing more and more. Like the more you list, the more sales you'll make on them. So it really does help to have a platform like List Perfectly. And if you guys haven't used our listing feature yet, it makes it super easy to delist and relist. So, yes. Okay, I see that we're already way woke to the end listing feature. I agree. Yeah, it's the best. So not only can you cross post with List Perfectly, but you can also use a variety of other business tools, one of them being the end listing feature where you delist and relist. And that will help you generate those kind of metrics on the platform to let the platform know I'm listing, even if it's the same product again, it will reward you and help you get those sales. Okay, awesome. So just because we are talking about List Perfectly, I want to remind the people that are on here that List Perfectly is the #1 way to cross post and sell on multiple platforms. So essentially what we do is things from one platform to the other platforms you're selling on. basically what happens is you'll take the one platform you're selling on, and then you'll select the marketplaces you want to copy to, and we'll open tabs to all of those marketplaces and fill out those sell pages for you, so you don't have to be typing nonstop. And what we've seen from our users is that this saves 80% of the time. So they are listing in a fifth of the time. You can also go from List Perfectly catalog rather than your existing platform to those other platforms as well. And I think that's really cool. That's something that the other services don't have, which is that other services make you start your listing on their website and then cross post. But with List Perfectly, if you're already like deep in the eBay game or deep in the Mercari game, then you can cross post straight from that platform to the other. Yep. And oh, I forgot to say, I'm not sure if you guys saw this week, we lifted our catalog limit. So you can actually have unlimited products catalog for free. So that's another reason to go in and use List Perfectly catalog for things like end listing and relisting. Okay, so sorry you guys, just had to do a quick, heads up that I'm wondering what is List Perfectly. So let's actually ask this first, then we'll go back to the other questions. How has List Perfectly helped you guys grow your business?
Oh my gosh, it has helped save so much time. Something that would literally take me like 10 listings, maybe it would take all day, right? Now that in itself takes me maybe an hour. And so literally just saving us hours and hours of time. And time, we always say this in our houses, time is money. And so you need to be wise with how you spend it. And so if we can save that time, there's nothing more valuable than that.
Yeah, our mentors have basically told us to hire your weaknesses. Whatever you can do, and I slowly started to understand this the longer that we were together. Like, she was always like, oh, I can't wait to get a maid. I can't wait to do this. I'm not doing nothing. I would rather just, the more that she said that, it really started to make sense, because I can't sit still. Like, I always have to be growing. I'm always reaching for the next best thing. I want to be ahead of the curve. There's always someone, bigger, faster, stronger, and I'm working every day to be that person, or at least keep up. So we're always taking on new challenges. We're always trying out new business ventures, or just different ways to invest our money to see which method will bring us the best return. And time is one thing that a lot of people, I honestly feel, I wish so badly that people understood the value of time. Like, you can lose money and get it back, but time, you can look back and be like, oh my gosh, I wasted the last 3, 6, 9, 12 months of my life and I have nothing to show for it. So when it comes to business, the more money that you want to make, you obviously, to some degree, you have to do more. So we don't get to walk down the street and be like, oh shoot, look, I just found an hour and a half of spare time that someone else lost. We all have that same 24, and you can only afford to wake up so early and go to bed so late. So if you can take the things that you're already doing and automate those, or hand them to someone else that can afford to put that time into something else, which allows you to broaden or take what you're already good at and become better, then why not? And I'm a penny pincher. I'm very tight with my money. And this is just like, everyone knows this, but when she brought List Perfectly up to me, she was like, hey, it's this much a month for, it's 30 for the simple, then we have the pro, and then she was tough.
Yeah, so it's 29 for simple, it's
Mm-hmm.
49 for business, it's 69 for pro. So again, you can get 30% off with the code LavishFinds, though. So
2 Z's.
2 Z's, and we'll be posting it, and they'll be posting it. So you can try it. Also, you get a 3-day money back guarantee, so you are able to try it. But yes, when she first came to you with the pricing, you were probably like, what?
I was like, $70 a month. Oh, hell no, right? And then so obviously we have the 3-day free trial, so everyone, I don't know who doesn't love free. So I was like, hey, look, I'm not the tech guy. You do all the computer stuff. That's on you. And when she showed me how fast it was, I was like, you already have that many listings done? Because there was a time when I was transferring all of our eBay listings over to Mercari, and I would literally stay up until 2 o'clock in the morning copying the description, screenshotting photos, or scrolling all the way up looking for photos just to post to Mercari. And it took me, what, about 2 hours a day on average for about 3 weeks straight to get all of the listings from eBay to Mercari. And we had at the time about 250, but we got hit with that seller limit. So obviously I had to remove some of those items. And then obviously by putting our entire inventory on a whole nother platform, new set of eyes, we started making like 5, 6, 7 sales instantly every single day, effortlessly. And I was like, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense. So the more platforms that we started to place our stuff on, we would sell a crazy amount of items. And the best thing about cross posting, I know I'm so long-winded. The best part about cross posting
is why we want you here. I love it.
There's certain items that will do well on one platform and they'll do poorly on another. There's certain people like myself at one time, I was like middle finger to eBay, but I'll praise Mercari, and I would not shop on eBay, I would shop on Mercari the same way people shop on Amazon or eBay. You have to appeal to whichever market. So we would have items that would sit on eBay, but as soon as we posted them to Mercari, we couldn't keep up with them. Right. And so it's like a light bulb finally flickers, and it just means that you have to get your stuff out there for you to have like a legitimate chance of you moving your inventory, especially if you want to capture that ROI, or you're stuck with last season's items that no one wants and you have to sell at a loss.
Right. So it just made sense to him, obviously, for us to have the tool. Yeah.
Okay, well, I love that. And you know, a lot of people, like, I think just resellers in general, we are penny pinchers. I'm a penny pincher too, right? So you get scared when you see anything that's going to be adding to your price or to what you are, you know what I mean, already spending. But when you see the time come back, which is a perfect thing to say, and I just love what you said about how hire your weakness, right? Like, it takes so long to cross post. We all know that that's no secret, right? And just getting back 3 hours, if you value your time at $20, that's $60 right there. And you're going to get back so much more in those 3 hours. When you cross post to one platform, and you, like, literally, if you use this perfectly, to go from one platform, let's say you're just on Poshmark and you get on eBay, you make 2 sales, which you will, that pays for itself right there. So it is so incredible. And I do just want to address the trolls that are coming up in our comments. First of all, thank you guys so much for the love in the comments. I appreciate it so much. You guys are amazing and we love you. But for the trolls, like, I just kind of want to say, List Perfectly never has the name of any of our competitors in our mouths. We never talk about them. So for you guys to come on here and do that, it just kind of says everything you need to know about List Perfectly versus our competitors. We are focused on you, our members, our sellers, and not on looking elsewhere or bashing anyone to get ahead. And the only reason that anybody ever hates is because they hate you because they ain't you. So I recommend that everyone try List Perfectly. It really does say everything you need to know about our service versus any other service. So back to this.
I feel like I need to go read the comments now.
I know. I'm actually going to even post this to our feed because I just love it. It's like, okay, we'll get a little like spice up in this feed. I love it. Okay, so what products and brands are your best sellers?
We can talk about this in a little more.
Well, that also depends on the times, I guess you could say. But initially, we were mainly focused on Nike, just big brands, anything that pretty much will sell itself. I mean, and that also depends on the area and the time. I mean, like, closer to wintertime, we're selling LL Bean, Patagonia, Columbia. And, you know, during the spring, summer, it's Adidas, Nike, Under Armour, things like that. But we preferably lean more towards the Nike side, just because I just have, you know, I'm a Nike head. So it's just something that I'm very familiar with. I understand the trends. I used to work in a gym that was in a mall, and there was a Nike factory store that had opened up. I was 8th in line. I was in there so often, they thought I worked there. Like, I was literally selling shoes to customers without a job. But that's another thing that, like, put me in position to build the relationships that I had at the time and even to today. Like, we were getting passes to the employee store. I was getting discounts. So just by me being cool, you know, just allowed that to happen. But fast forward to your question, sorry. Um,
Good, I love it.
when Corona hit, we were forced obviously to change our sourcing methods. A lot of retail stores weren't open, so we had to move to online arbitrage, basically buying, you know, looking for items online. We would buy, whether it be from retail store websites, we would buy from Poshmark and resell on Mercari. We did that very often. People are underselling their items just to make a quick buck. And if you have the capital, you can afford to purchase something with, you know, the expectation of holding, but selling at a larger profit. And that's just somewhat of our business model. But we had the opportunity to drive out of state to another state, which had opened up before ours. And we hit up a couple of Burlington coat factories. And a lot of people, when the Burlington coat factories opened up, they were doing half off of literally everything. So we were buying shoes and items that we would never even look at, but at half cost, it was like we're losing money if we left it there. So we were picking up Crocs. We picked up a lot of Pumas. Pumas, oh my gosh, Puma really blew my mind with the demand. You know what I mean? Like we were buying Pumas for $12 to $17 and selling them for anywhere between 70 to 120. So that was like a mind opener, and the ROI, the return on the investment from a $17 shoe was almost 400% versus spending $190 on a pair of Jordans, and I'm struggling to make $25 because everyone and their mom is selling under market value. So it just made a little bit more sense to take that $180 or $190 that I would have spent, or we would have spent on a pair of Jordans, and invest that into $10 slides that we're selling at high volume at $30. So that in itself really like altered our business model. So we don't really have a specific, but because we do live around a Nike outlet and things like that, obviously Nike and Jordan is probably our #1 brand that we go after.
Right. Okay, I love it. And as you guys, if you hear me typing, it's because I am taking notes. Like I just absolutely love this. I'm getting so many gems from it. And I'm going to just put in huge letters when we post this, hire your weakness. I think that was just such a great gem. And we're just getting so many gems from you both. So thank you so much. All right, we're at our last question. And then we are going to announce our winner of 1 month free of List Perfectly. But this is my favorite question. So what is one thing you wish you knew when you started reselling? Like if you could just go back and be like, no, you need to know this, what would it be?
Wow, I could go for hours on this. I mean, in fact, we actually have an ebook called The Things That We Wish We Knew. We published it. The link is in our bio if you guys are interested, but we'll go ahead and give you guys some pretty much like a little dose of one of the main things that we wish. I wish we were more open-minded to opportunity. We kind of touched on it when we were speaking about the things that we invest a lot of money in based off of hype. And I think a lot of young and old resellers really need to understand this concept. Sometimes we get sucked into the reselling world because we see people posting, you know, piles and piles of Jordans, or we see boxes and boxes of sales going out, and we really underestimate what goes into that. And we overestimate what we think or expect to get out of it.
Right.
I see someone, for instance, buying 20 pairs of Jordans that cost $190, right? So you just took basically what, 20, 90, boom, boom, boom. We're looking at a very high amount of money that you invested just to make $20, or even, let's say, best case scenario, $40 return on each of those $190, $180 investments. If I break that down, that same amount of money that was invested into all of those Jordans, because we've made this mistake countless times and we're even still stuck with some of these pairs. If we just move that into just buying something as simple as some Crocs or JDI Benassi slides that you can get at any store for anywhere between $12 to $15 with a retail sticker of $30, you just sell at retail and you're almost doubling your money. Try that with some Jordan 5s or 13s or whatever other hype item out there that requires such an output of capital with such little return, you know? So I think the one thing that I wish we really would have just paid attention to is focus more on the percentage back than the number. We see, oh, I made $100,000 in sales on eBay. Yeah, but $70,000 of that you had to invest in. You know, so it's really not about the sales number, it's about the percentage. I want to hear someone say, hey, this item sold for 200% ROI. Well, hell fucking yeah, good job. Oh, sorry. You know, do that at volume. Do that.
Oh no, we allow cursing. This is the no BS advice zone. We are going. Yeah.
I was like, oh man, we got kids following us.
No, you're good. You're good.
But
no, I love it. Don't overestimate the hype. It's so true.
Don't chase the hype. The hype, this is what we say, hype shoes bring the views, but bricks pay the bills.
Oh. I'm writing. I'm like,
I love it.
I swear I've been spamming. I told you guys at the beginning of this, I've been wanting to start getting back into resale with my boyfriend. I'm spamming him. I'm like, the hype shoes only get the views. I'm like texting him crazy throughout this. No, it's so helpful. I learned so much. I know everyone else has too. Thank you guys so much for all these tips. And I just heard you guys say that you do have a ebook called Things We Wish We Knew.
Yes.
Oh my God. Can't wait to get it. Can't wait to share it. We're going to share that on our feed as well. Definitely will make a post for you guys about that. That's so cool. Everyone here, please go follow Lavish Finds. One of our community content managers here, Chelsea, she actually went to your page and she just wrote into the comments like that you guys have great tips on all of your posts. So just kind of wanted to share that with the audience here. It was perfectly to follow Lavish Finds. You can sign up with the code Lavish Finds 2 Z's for 30% off your first month. And finally, our winner for 1 month free is, yes, drum roll, love it. It's gonna be She Digs Jewels. She Digs Jewels. We're gonna go through with Lavish Finds and get you your free month. And also, you can come back every single week for another super seller session to win a month free of Was Perfectly. Thank you so much, Jordan and Will. You guys have been seriously so informative and just given us so many gems. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you so much.
Have a great night, and I'll see you soon.
Yes, you as well.
Bye.
Bye.